there's the words 5 as I defined before. Words 5 array, that is. Quite a few there. And I've got a word 6 array now. And a word 7, words 8, words 9, 10, 11, 12 and 13. Just for examples, you know. Then, this is where it's a bit different down here. I've also incorporated a loop where you can play again or not. I exit and ask you a question in input. And there's this new variable called size choice, which is like the size of the word that you choose to guess. And obviously it can vary between 5 and 13. And if you enter 0 there, it'll just jump straight out. So if you press yes at the end to come back up here to play again, and if you change your mind, you can just press 0 here and it'll jump out. And then it goes into the loops, the if conditions here of whether it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, or 12 or 13, and then it gets a random number for each. Then sets the mark string as before to the appropriate size, as you can see in the green stars, and then it sets the mystery word, because y is now whatever size it's set to be, 5 down to 13, and you always have to put 0 in there for some peculiar reason, because it gets rid of the inverted commas and the brackets from the selected item from these samples that you take from each one. And then I set the word string as before. I kept the same names as I did before I started using random numbers before, and it's the same sort of principle really, like 10 attempts, but there's more conditions down here. Right, before it just went up to 4, 0 to 4, which is like a 5-letter word, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now it goes to 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12, which is 13 basically. And there's another peculiar thing about Python, is it lets you put the size of a string at the end, like beyond its ending. Like if it's 4, then it's 5, so it'll concatenate sod all at the end, basically, as in it'll just make it readable and programmable rather than putting more conditions in there, which is useful because it's okay this bit up till wherever it is, but at the end, if there's nothing at the end and there's like a 5-letter word there, it'll come to here and it'll say, yep, guess word 4, which is 5, the 5th element, then you can put this on the end, which is handy because if it's bigger than 5, it'll just put the rest of it back into the mark string. So this works peculiarly enough anyway, because it just puts nothing into a 5-letter string, which is very useful. Also, another thing I want to tell you about Python is these arrays can be added to, because you're just taking a sample of the string, because this is the definition of the length of the string, and you can like add words to each one, and it'll know. It's automatic. Like you don't have to define the size of the string array at the beginning. It will know how long it is, because these are each of the elements. So every time I think of another word, you know, or if I decide to extend it, I just put them in, and it automatically does it. Marvellous. Because, well, at least in BASIC and C, you usually have to define arrays in the literal sense. You have to define the size of it. So every time you put another one in there and you're altering the program, you have to redefine this one as well. I mean, it's not that big a deal, but you know, it's just useful because you can enter 5, and if you forget how many you put in, it doesn't matter, because it'll know, because they're all separated by columns. Anyway, so I just thought I'd mention that. Then, oops, sorry, I'm going a bit too far there. Yes, so it's the same thing here. After you've done all that, set the mystery word, put it into the word string for the attempts loop. Same thing here. Length. Well, length of guess word is less than size choice, or length of guess word is greater than size choice. Size choice is the entered size of the word that you choose to guess. Then it will keep doing this. It will keep asking you to input a word until it is the size that you specifically wanted to guess the word of, you know. And this is where it gets input into a string, size of choice plus letter word. So in other words, it'll put that into a 5, 6, 7. It's just because that needs it for the output. Basically, you have to define it as a string. If I just put size choice in there, it comes up with an error. Believe me, I tried that, because that is an integer. So you've got to convert it to a string to concatenate it in between these two strings here to have this condition work. And they also must be capitals, as before. Yeah, they're always capitals, as you can see it from at the top. They're all capitals. And same as before, display attempts plus 1, because it starts at 0. And if guess word equals word string, then we go out we go. Breaks the loop. That breaks the loop. Then it comes down to ask you if you want to play again. Basically, that's the end of the loop. There. There. I initialized the char characters so that this recognizes it, because otherwise it will throw it out and say we don't know what char is. Char is. So you have to define it before you say that, and then you put enter yes or no. There, input string, which now becomes char, and it either has to be yes or no. The and is both. If it's not equal to y, and it's not equal to n, then it will keep doing that until it is equal to y or equal to n. And if it's equal to n, then play choice equals no. Well, play choice equals yes, so it'll come back up here and say, oh no, hang on, it's set to no now, so bounce back down and quit the program, basically, because there's no more code here. It's all comments, just a few other words that I've thought of here, which may increase and may incorporate into the program at a later date. And then it's back up to here, sorry. So if the guess word is out correct, attempts display breaks the loop, etc. Like I just said, else, right before it checks every single character in the guess word that you just input here. Input word now becomes the guess word. So it checks every single one, and it checks to see If it's not, if it's equal to that, then we've got to find out which one it is, and we've got to put that in the mark string so we can display it here. So mark string, because it's not right. See, if it's guesswork, it's a work string. Well, it's not quite there, so there might be a few characters that are right. So let's check one, see which ones they are, and then put them in here, and then display it. There. Then, if it hasn't reached 10 attempts, and it says incorrect attempts equals, then it goes back into the loop. Attempts. Of course, it's a for loop, so it automatically increments it every time it comes back round to it. So I don't need to put attempts equals 2 attempts plus 1 or anything like that, because it's a for loop which ends there, basically. And if it does reach 10, however, it goes, well, out of attempts, bad luck, and then it tells you what the word was, the word string. That's basically it. So, let's see it running, shall we? There we go. Into difficulty. What should we have? What size of word should we have? Say a 7-letter word? Enter a 7-letter word. Manage. Nope, that's a 6-letter word, so it's asking you for another one. It doesn't decrement your attempt number, by the way. Increment, whichever way you want to look at it. Manages. That's a 7-letter word. Nope, and you notice there, none of those letters are in the right position, so none of those letters are there. So you could like mess about and say, well, I wonder if there are any A's in it. So you could just put like 7 A's in. Yes, there are 2 A's in it. What the heck could that be? C-R-A clan. I don't know. I can't think of one. Oh, there's an R in there. Oh, there's a second one. Yes, S's are quite common in words. And then see if there are any S's in there. Nope, there's no S's in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No T's. We've only got one vowel in there. I wonder if there are any other vowels in there. Let's try the I's. Bearing in mind, I'm now on attempt 6. So I've had 5 attempts at this. And I've only got 3 out of the 7 letters right so far. So, let's see. E? See if there's an E in it. It's quite a common vowel, isn't it? No. O? There's no O's. A-E-I-O-U. U. Let's try it for you. Yes. What could that be? 7-letter word. This is the last attempt now, by the way, because you noticed that was attempt 9. So this is the last chance I've got. I don't think I'm going to get it, you know. Doesn't begin with C, because as you can see there, that didn't mark C as correct. Marked the R and the A. Well, the A was already there, but the R was the new one. Let me put it in there. No S's, no T's, no I's, no E's, no O's. N's? I mean, I don't know what it is. Try an N, because I don't think I'm going to get it. Nope. Gradual. There it was, see? So that was it. That was the word. Gradual. So I ask you to play again.